So, this is the outdoor chapel for Concordia University in Nebraska. I really don't have too many stories from here, other than the one time that I went to a bonfire with my freshman year room and hall with my RA. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's really my only story from this place. I know a lot of the DCE people like going down here, and a lot of like the freshman halls do kind of activities down here. I did not spend much time down here at this little section of campus. Not to say it was bad. I think it's a great place, but I never went there too much. So this is the maintenance building, which was, well, as you can guess, the maintenance building. It's nothing too spectacular. It's a building where you go to tell people to fix things. Also, that's where you got your car tags if you weren't a freshman or new student, and you just happened to have a new car because you accidentally rammed your old car going 20 miles an hour and slowing down on a brick road in Seward the year before into the back of a parked car. Yep. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to... yeah. You might say to yourself, oh look, he took a picture of some trees and the tennis courts or something like that. Oh no, those are not tennis courts. Those are Vaucus courts. If you don't know, Vaucus is a mixture between volleyball, soccer, and tennis. You should look it up on YouTube because it's a great game, and I've seen a number of videos posted there. It was a fun activity that I got to play, and I'm going to continue playing it as I can. I didn't do it often. I did it a couple times a year. I did it maybe 6 to 8, less than 10 times, but it was beyond fun. I wish I had done it more. I just didn't because I was stupid, I guess. But it was overall fun, and you should look it up so you can figure out how to play it, because I don't feel like describing it and getting it wrong and have someone come back and tell me I am stupid. Oh, buddy. The Ruth Abc Contest. Actually, that sign is a little misnomer because it's sitting in front of Ruth B. But I have plenty of stories I could tell about this. This is one of those things I could almost go on for hours on. Anyway, but yeah, this was my freshman year dormitory residence hall. I lived on the top floor. My room would be on the upper right hand side. So there was a stairwell, and then it would be the stairwell and right by my room. It was great, except for the fact of my roommate. Oh, buddy, he was an interesting individual. Yeah, I am glad I made it through my freshman year, and the interesting curveballs that got thrown at my way with said roommate, but overall, I really can't complain too much. He wasn't a terrible guy in the whole scheme of things. I think he just had a little bit of fun with his sports buddies. My RA, though, he was amazing when I was in Ruth B. I couldn't have asked for a better RA. He is an amazing guy, amazing friend, and I really just miss him. He is a heart. Spalding, I love you, buddy. Dorktown! Yeah, this is the dormitory that I lived in for my sophomore and junior year. Oh, the roommates improved drastically for those 2 years. They were amazing roommates. I really couldn't have asked for anything better in roommates those 2 years. I wasn't a perfect student, but my roommates were generally quiet, and I didn't get in their way, they didn't get in mine, and we just had our own little shebang. But otherwise, it was cool. Older dorm on campus. Another funny story is I actually lived 2 doors, like 2 rooms down from where my mom stayed when she went to college at Concordia. Yep, that was my sophomore year. So I was in room, I think it was 209, and she was in 207 when she went here. It would have been 35 years before me, but that was always a festive time to know that my mom had stayed there, because Dorcas was once a girls' dorm, according to what she's told me, and what a lot of people have told me. Yeah, so this was the best dorm for living on campus because it was right in front. It was like the closest dorm to anything else. So that was it was perfect. And yeah, just had plenty of fun there. My friends and I did a few Dungeons and Dragons campaigns in the basement. Yeah, so I don't know how I got roped into that, but that was actually quite fun. I really enjoyed doing the Dungeons and Dragons stuff. It was quite the party. My buddy Josh was the dungeon master. My buddy Sam, my buddy Joseph. All I remember is Joseph. His character's name was Gergie, and Gergie was so annoying. He was like Joseph, like on steroids or something. Oh yes, my name is Gergie. Oh no, it was beyond mental comprehension. But other than that, Dorcas was amazing. Yeah. Esther Hall. I really don't have much to say about this. It was a dorm I stayed in for a little over a year because, okay, not a little over a year, a little over a semester, because this is where I lived my senior year. So, first semester of senior year, I was still taking classes, and second semester I was student teaching. So, yeah, student teachers stayed on campus for half of the semester, or stayed in wherever they were in Seward. And then for the second half, we went farther away. Or at least most of us did. And of course, then as I was getting ready to do my second part of student teaching, the whole COVID-19 pandemic hit, and that was just a blast. If you can't tell, this is all pure and utter sarcasm. It is meant to be that way because I am utterly sick of stupid stuff that this is. caused. But anyway. Oh yes, the Janzow. Jan's wow. But anyway, this is where everything happened, it seemed like. But then again, nothing happened. Because this is where we ate meals, supposedly hung out, and the coffee shop. Yeah, I really didn't spend a ton of time here, except for that one night that I needed to every 3 weeks, that I could, I won't exactly say catch up on homework, but finish homework, do things like that, spend time trying to work on things outside of my room, because as most of you probably know, you can't just stay in one place to keep working. So Janzow was my go-to place for that. There's this thing called the Janzow squeeze that we do when we eat, or well, when we used to do before COVID hit, was we would try to fit as many people as humanly possible around one single dining room table. And that would be what we would do to try to promote the most community. You would see groups of people scattered around the cafeteria because each group of people had their own special area. The sports people had their area. The football players even had their own area that was slightly different than the other sports people. The nerds had their area. The band people had their area. The band people who were also nerds had their area. The people who had some kind of connection to the band, even though they really aren't in band, or any kind of music ensemble, but yet they somehow are so associated with the band, but yet are extremely nerdy. Joseph Greenmeyer, those people got to sit with the band kids too. So it was just one big festive time, whatever. So I always loved Janzow squeezing, even though it was Janzow squeezing, and I'm not a small person. It just made me feel really good, made me feel valued, especially when I was the first one that usually sat down, and other people decided they wanted to come and sit with me. Or at least one or two other people decided they wanted to come and sit with me, and then everyone else would just keep climbing in. So it all started because of me, even if everyone wasn't there because of me. That made me feel good. Not because I'm self-conceited or anything, I just have a slightly low opinion of myself. A very much low opinion of myself sometimes. But other than that, I love the Janzow squeeze idea. Too bad that students this year aren't able to do that because they're limiting it. The Fountain, otherwise known as the second largest swimming pool on Concordia's campus, because the pond, the fish pond in the music building is larger. But still, it is somewhat impressive because we don't actually have a pool on campus anymore. That left between when my mom was here and when I got here. I'm kind of disappointed, but I somewhat understand, I guess. But yeah, it's a fountain that's only on about half of the time that I'm there. Not even half. It's like on for like 4 weeks in the fall and 4 weeks in the spring. But yet they say it's on longer to try to impress us. The Holthus Family Plaza. Yeah, it was a nice place to walk. I'd always walk through it a few times a day. It was a pretty beautiful walk. pretty beautiful place to take pictures, especially when it snows. That was an amazing time, is to catch snow in that area because it would make the trees look beautiful. But other than that, not too many impressive stories happened there. A lot of my stories are going to be coming up later. This, boys and girls, is the CUNE sower symbol, which is basically the seal of the university. Yep, pretty amazing, I know. Great stuff. Yep, I really do like it. It's a really good symbol. I am proud that it is the symbol of this university. And this is Tilak, the great and powerful Tilak. Oh my, have I had many classes in this building. It has been, oh yeah. And there are many stories I could be telling about this place. The biggest thing is Tilak Mountain. Okay, you're a school in the middle of Nebraska. You have a thing called Tilak Mountain. Yeah. So it's just this great big flight of stairs that goes from basement up to second level. So it goes up 2 stories. You wouldn't think that that would be any big whoop or anything, but it is. It is the biggest whoop in the entire university. Those stairs are pure torture on the not exactly physically fit. So please, dear students, do not take your time lightly when you do not have to walk up Tilak Mountain. Of course, there are plenty of other stories I could tell about Tilak, but most of them are boring things like, oh yeah, I attended class in this building. Oh yeah, I went to class in this building. Oh, here's this class I went to in this building. It's a great building to have a class in. But I also lined up here for graduation, which I am thankful we had and had the opportunity to have. Yeah, this building is just pretty uneventful, I guess. It's an education building. It educates you and also tortures you when you try to climb up Tilak Mountain. This might not seem like that impressive of a picture to you at first, but it is the most impressive picture on all of campus for anyone. These 3 parking spots are 3 of the most coveted parking spots on all of campus. They provide absolute exclusivity on the simple fact that there's only 3 of them right next to each other before it is interrupted by a handicapped stall to the right, a gate to get to some garbage cans, and some other parking spot before more student parking is available. But those other student parking spots down this row are harder or farther away. Granted, there's some other student parking that's across the little drive from this, but they're not quite as exclusive because there's way more of them. These parking spots give you bragging rights for as soon as you park in them. Though no one ever brags about them that I've ever heard. Except for me in my own head when I was like, yay, look at me, aren't I special? I got the spot. This here, boys and girls, is the Vernon Taylor, I don't know exactly remember how to pronounce it, but it's a clock tower. It's pretty nice. It shows you, hey, buddy, did you forget to check your watch or your phone? It's time to get to class. Get moving. Yeah, pretty much it. So a guy's family had donated money in his memorial, to have this clock tower installed on campus. Neato. This here is the amazing Founders Hall. Yeah, I had to do some theater practicum hours in which I helped out with some theater stuff, like costumes and scenery kind of stuff in here. It's an old building, as it might imply by the idea of a Founders Hall, but it was actually a pretty nice little building. I feel sorry for the theater kids a little bit that they are forced to be in there, but someone's got to use the space, and if we're not going to tear it down, someone's got to use it, and someone's got to use it happily. So, sorry to the theater kids. Hope that they improve it for you sometime soon. This is a picture of Founders Hall on the left, looking towards Weller Hall, which is where we're probably going to talk about next. So, get ready. Yes, this is the infamous Weller Hall. It is a wonderful building, great place. I love this building. I only ever had one class in it, but it really wasn't about class. The stories I have to tell about this building range far deeper than classes. It ranges from my spiritual life, which was greatly affected by this university. Here's some stories. I met one of the greatest men to ever support Iowa football. And from a Husker fan, that's saying a lot, because there are very few great men that support Iowa football. Haha, just kidding. Ryan Matthias, the campus pastor, is such a great guy that I can't believe he supports Iowa. Anyway, enough about my anti-Iowa tirade. I think that Pastor Matthias is one of the best people, and probably the only person I could have ever imagined being a campus pastor, or at least a campus pastor at Concordia University in Nebraska, as well as he does it. He connects with all of the students so well, and he has told me on a number of occasions, apparently, that even though I'm a Husker fan, he misses me sitting where I always sat in chapel, right under the organ, because your boy loves his organ. Always sat in the same place on the south side of Weller Chapel, and I always did the same thing. 4 seats in from the very right, very south side. That would be my spot. Unless, of course, people started crowding me in and wanted to sit next to me, which actually occasionally happened and might surprise a few of you. But otherwise, yeah. There's just a lot of things that this place offered. I had a number of jazz fests that were hosted here in Weller Auditorium. I'd say I think it's either just under or just over half of the ones that I participated in were in here. And Jazz Fest was such an amazing time, because we would do that at the end of the semester when everyone is super stressed out beyond belief about everything that they could possibly be stressed about. And then the jazz band gets on stage and starts rocking away to some Sing, 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 or other songs. I just love Sing, Sing, Sing. I'm sorry. It's a great song. We would just rock out on stage in jazz. No, that's kind of oxymoronic, but whatever. I just loved being able to be on stage with other people who loved performing music, and other people who loved being in a style of music that has meant so much to the American tradition. It was great. Weller Auditorium has so many memories, because I also helped set up chapel communion for Wednesdays sometime. And it was that was a honor to be able to help out with that and do. Weller Chapel organ, I also practiced on sometimes, because who doesn't love playing on an organ if given the chance? It's as Mozart said once, the king of instruments. So, who wouldn't love to be able to be the controller of the king of instruments, the person responsible for the music coming out of the king of instruments? It's almost as if you are the king of instruments. Granted, I am nowhere near the skill level of anyone else on campus. Any of the professional church musicians on campus. Because I can only do a few hymns, full feet, pedals, and manuals, and keyboards. There are some people on campus that are just amazing, outstanding organists beyond belief. The likes of Professor Dr. Blush, Dr. Hurl, secretly Dr. Grimple, but we don't talk about that. A number of students: Aaron Jackson, Charlotte Mines, Mason Coates when he was here, Caleb Stayer, Jenny Horn, Aaron Ferguson. I'm just trying to come up with all of these organists that are so much better than me, but where I get the inspiration from. I just love the enthusiasm and energy that the organ gives to those who play it, and I just wish everyone would be able to play it. Yeah, that's my lengthy diatribe about Weller Hall. That picture right there, boys and girls, that is the band section for home football games. The band, Pep Band, the band, the band. Oh, I loved being a Pep Band so much. There's so many stories I could tell about this. So, I'm just going to inexplicably talk about Pep Band for the majority of this. And then I'm probably going to talk about Pep Band all over again when I get to talking about the campus arena in Walls. So, Pep Band is super amazing. Okay, I'm going to regroup. I'm just going to talk about outdoor Pep Band, and then I'll talk about indoor Pep Band when we get to the auditorium. Or the arena, I mean. Anyway, outdoor Pep Band was great. I loved playing outdoor football Pep Band because I could just hear the reverberations after we finished a song bouncing around the entire town of Seward. There have been reports that the Concordia Band has played so loud that they can be heard all the way across town. I'm not so sure that that's 100% believable, but I'm going to say it is because we're the best Pep Band in the world because we're Concordia. I'm not being stuck up at all, am I? Anyway, I just loved playing outdoor Pep Band for football games. Just all the energy, the drive, and the complete utter lack of understanding of football for like about half of the Pep Band, and then a complete utter disregard for how not quite so well our football team was doing sometimes. But it's not 100% their fault. It's because we're Concordia. I don't know. I'm not going to try to describe it. But even though we lost, I'd say, let's just even say half of the time, the band brought the energy to the stadium. We brought the energy. We made everyone just excited to be there. Because with the Pep Band, we get invested into our music. We get invested into our essence, our jive. No, this is not semi-pro. We are not calling ourselves jive other things as a racial slur. We just brought awesome music that resonated. Mostly because it was an older crowd of like 70s and 80s. Like kids who grew up in the 70s and 80s. Who are now middle-aged adults, not to say. So, outdoor Pep Band was the place to be on Saturdays when we were at home. Brummer Hall. It used to be the cafeteria back when my mom went to school. Yep, I'm back at saying back when my mom's day kind of stories. But, yep, that was her cafeteria. Now it was the art building, that, as I know it, because, well, that's what it was and is. I had one class in here with Professor Don Robeson, who is one of the most hilarious people I'll ever meet. All because one morning at like 8 a.m., because I had the class at 8 a.m., he just wasn't feeling it. No one in the class was feeling it. So he was just like, okay, guys, we need to put a smile on our faces and just try to work through the class. So I put the biggest, like, ear-to-ear grin that I could possibly do. Open teeth, wide mouth, smile. And that just became my signature with him. And now every time that I walked around campus after that, we would just make that big toothy grin to each other because we knew that was the signature. That was just our stamp on let's make life good by smiling as much as humanly possible. Link Library, where many a night, many a student was spent studying away frivolently studying away, trying to make sure that everything was spick and span and perfect for classes. Got to make sure that you are studied up, caught up, and doing your homework. And of course, the library provided a wonderful place for you to sit and try to collect your thoughts and work on homework. There were great places to study. There were great places to hang out. Every Friday night there's a game night that I wish I had attended because it sounded really cool, but apparently this weirdo had quote-unquote better things to do, which mostly entailed me sitting in my dorm room studying and working away, instead of actually, going to the library to do those things. But don't worry, I got my studying done like a good little kid. Just not, apparently, as much at the library as I should have. Or I could have, I guess, is the better word to put it. But the library was amazing. Great. I just really think it's a great place on campus. Side note, one of my best friends, Josh Hendrickson, his dad is the director of the library. So, I guess street cred, in a way, because friends, parents, dads, that kind of thing. Yep. The Concordia sign, welcoming all people who pass by it. A hearty, boy howdy, to Concordia University, Nebraska. Welcome. Well, I guess I'll extend a welcome in the middle of my video, but okay. Hearty welcome to all y'all to Concordia. There's our flagpole, showing citizens of Seward County, yes, this is a university in the United States of America. Go America, yeah! I love that America. This is a great little, like reflecting garden kind of thing that sits between Jesse Hall and Weller Hall. It has rocks donated from like early 1900s classes of the university. It has trees and a little streamy-like thing in it. It's nothing too impressive. I mean, it's impressive, but it also is very relaxing. Jesse Hall, what used to be male dormitories, is now offices and a couple of classrooms. So that's festive. It's a building that is being utilized. So it's similar to the idea of how Founders is being utilized as something different than what it was originally built for, but at least it's still being utilized and not being torn down, so that the memories of these buildings can last on. So yes, this is the Son of Man Be Free statue, which is a depiction of Jesus Christ freeing us from our sinful condition. Jesus Christ, the Son of Man, freeing us from our sinful condition. Be free. It is also known to the locals as the Naked Man statue because of the fact that it is completely naked. Yep, it is completely clothesless. So that's always fun to walk past. A naked guy in the middle of a Lutheran Christian campus. Of course, at the time most convenient to do this, I forget what this statue is called, but of course, it is important. It has a purpose. I believe it has something to do with the Holy Spirit, but thanks a lot, brain, for making me forget. And of course, I would not forgive myself if I remembered and recorded it like this, but I also won't remember until I am done uploading this to YouTube and have this space free on my computer after this is gone. But I remember when this statue was in front of the music building in between two trees, and it was, oh yes, this is the creation statue. I'm sorry, that took so long to remember. There was a creation statue between the tree of the knowledge of good and evil and the tree of life. And of course, things went haywire in that garden back in the olden days when Adam and Eve were around. Because thanks to that, we died. Thanks a lot, but what you're gonna do? Anyway, so now we have this moved to a more centralized location so more people can readily and easily access it and see it and view it. So, I mean, it makes sense that they moved it. It just was nice to have a statue in front of the music building. And this right here, my friends, is the Duncan Center, or the Duncan Center for Science, Business, and Mathematics, or the Dunk Tank, if you prefer. Which I do, because Dunk Tank sounds cool. The Dunk Tank. That just sounds awesome. But yeah, so that is what we're looking at right now. And it is the newest addition to campus, combined with a building that is of moderate age on campus. The old section used to be the old science building, which obviously looks like an older section. But the newer section, which is the larger addition that has been recently built, was completed. The new section was completed in, I believe, in time for the fall of 2019 semester. And then the renovations on the old part were finished in time for the spring 2020 semester, which of course is then when things started to go downhill because of COVID. But it is nice to have such a space on campus to house some of the larger programs that are beginning to flourish on campus. Of course, being an education student, I only view it in terms of preparing future educators to properly teach the sciences. But that's not its only purpose, because there are roles in today's society, in today's Christian society, for Christians to carry out scientific study and criminal justice study and business study and mathematical study and all of that, all of the life, because we need important people. We need important and smart individuals running different aspects of daily life, such as hospitals, businesses, the technologies, and other emerging fields that are much needed in today's society. These here are just some random pictures that were taken around the stadium on campus, as they're some of the fixtures that have been recently added in the past couple of years to amplify and beautify the space that God has so lovingly provided for our football, soccer, and other outdoor athletics. Here we have ourselves the old PE building, or just the PE building. It is the building that we have used in years past for hosting our indoor sports, but is now primarily used as a backup gym for tournaments and the like. Also hosts cheer practices and dance practices and cheer and dance competitions. It is a fully functional gymnasium still with offices and places for the football team. It is the house of the football team. So that is where they store their weights, measures, and other football stuff. So, and like football pads, helmets, and jerseys, and that kind of thing. Because obviously you have to have a spot for all of that bulky material, and it all can't fit in one singular location. And in the walls building, so it just made sense that when the walls was built, that they made a space for the football to feel welcome and at home. So they made that be the basement and some of the upstairs of the PE building. This is another clock tower on campus. This is donated by, I believe it's Jones Bank in Seward, and it helps you let you know if you are late trying to attend one of the sporting events on Concordia's campus. Basically, it gives you a big whack on the watch, tell you, hey, buddy, look what time it is. You might be late. So, it's another beautiful clock tower. As promised, you're going to get the very lengthy installment of Indoor Pep Band. So, this is the Walls Performance Center, which is our bigger arena on campus, along with a field house, and those provide indoor facilities for our teams to be able to play. So that's part of what I consider my memory, is occasionally getting to watch teams succeed on court, on field, or whatever. But the biggest memory I have in this building is the continuous Pep Band games that I would always attend while in this building. I just love Pep Band, especially on an indoor setting, because it gives more of a close, tight-knit focus onto the Pep Band. But there were so many things that I just could go on and on forever about Pep Band, especially indoor Pep Band. One of my favorite memories, though, is my freshman year walking in here into the Walls Performance Arts Complex. and getting to play for the Concordia Invitational Tournament, or CIT. CIT is a yearly tradition held at the end of January that 4 Concordias participate in. Concordia, Nebraska, Concordia, Ann Arbor, Concordia, Chicago, and Concordia, Mequon. All 4 of those teams for men's and women's basketball get together and compete on the field to try to prove that once again Concordia, Nebraska is dominant at everything because we are the best. Just kidding. We are very good at women's basketball, but it takes some. Sometimes we're high on the guys' side and we're just doing really well. Sometimes we struggle a little bit, but it really doesn't affect us too much. What we do is that travels around every single year. It gets passed on kind of like the Stanley Cup, and each Concordia gets to host it. And my freshman year, it just happened to be at Concordia, Nebraska that it was hosted. And I was just so confused as to what a CIT was that I just went along with it. I thought it was just kind of, okay, whatever, big basketball tournament. Ooh, yay. I did not realize how much that actually meant and what that actually entailed. I was so glad that I was able to participate and really get a feeling for what it is, because it is one of the most dynamic atmospheres in all of college sports. I argue even more dominant than the Ohio State-Michigan football rivalry, or the Auburn-Alabama rivalry, or the Alabama and literally everyone rivalry. The Concordia Invitational Tournament is just such a small... It's kind of like your small town rivalries, but at a collegiate level, and it just makes it so good to be able to come together as 4 different Concordias of the, I believe, 8 remaining Concordias, and just get together, play some awesome basketball, and do Pep Band stuff, and cheer stuff, and dance stuff. This is the only time that Pep Bands will travel to other teams' places for this tournament. Because most of the time we wouldn't go to a Doane or Hastings College or a Nebraska Wesleyan or Midlands. The Pep Band would just play for their home games. But for this, we got to go to wherever the tournament was hosted. So, as I said earlier, it was hosted at Nebraska my freshman year. And then my sophomore year, it was hosted at Concordia University in Mequon, Wisconsin. And that would probably have to be my favorite away Pep Band experience of the couple that I got to go to. Because, first of all, my cousin Allison, at the time, was going to Mequon, but she graduated. So, I just love the ability to go see her campus in a supervised way, I guess you would call it, because it was a university-sanctioned event, so I was kind of told that I was allowed to go and do stuff. So, I just really enjoyed that. And then my junior year, it was hosted at Concordia, Ann Arbor, and my band professor, Dr. Andrew Schultz, used to teach at Concordia, Ann Arbor, and I got to hear some interesting stories from him about his time working at Ann Arbor, which really was, I wouldn't use the cliche phrase eye-opening, but I really appreciated getting to talk a lot to him about that. And then my senior year, I was student teaching, and I didn't get to go, but it was hosted at Concordia, Chicago. So, that is my big, lengthy tirade about how awesome I think Pep Band is, and how I think everyone should be a part of it. This is probably going to be my next longest talk because I miss the music building so much. The music building was the heart and soul of my campus experience. I got to do so much and participate in so many different musical activities and do so many different awesome things with the bands and instrumental ensembles and all the different activities I just got to participate in the music building. I really do truly miss a lot about Concordia, but the music building would probably have to be one of the most important things as an essence of that, because the music building just had so much that it gave to me as a campus experience that I just don't think there's anything that could ever replace it as a physical, non-human entity on campus. There were so many band tours and Pep Band games that I got ready for in here. There were so many CIT trips that started off here. So many jokes, so many laughs, so much emotion that was poured into this building. This is where I have met so many of my friends. This is where I just got to know so much about and grow so much about my life and my faith and what it meant to be me, that I just don't ever think that I can ever say Concordia without thinking the music building. There is a wonderful Concert Fierce organ in the recital hall that I would always love playing on. I would get to play on it occasionally for evening prayer, which was hosted in the recital hall. And I just loved being able to lead worship in such an amazing way and such an amazing opportunity. I just love being able to do that. The basement had, or has, an organ from practically every major organ builder in the nation, or in the North America, at the time of the music building's building. And I always loved going down there and practicing on them. But the band room is synonymous with Jacob Michaelson, I believe, for at least a couple more years, because apparently I brought the life to campus, and I brought the pep and fun to the music building sometimes. I wasn't the only one. Don't get it too twisted that I'm so high up on myself that I think that I'm the only thing that kept the building together. Oh, I know it's not. I know I'm not, because I wasn't even a music major. There are so many other music majors that would have been able to have more of a claim to that kind of thing than I did. But I think I just left an impression on so many people that it stopped being the music building and more Jacob Michelson's Hangout. Let's go see what Jacob's done now. There was one time that I got the opportunity to dress up as Dr. Schultz, and I looked almost exactly like him. It was fabulous. I was super impressed with how well the costume came together and how everything just worked out so well, and I really truly appreciated it. And Dr. Schultz appreciated it too. He laughed his back end off so much. There are so many other stories I could tell you about the music building. I can't remember exact stories a lot. I just have these spotty memories that are just like, oh yeah, that was the best time ever. I got to play in recitals in the recital hall. I got to participate in brass ensemble, which was a hoot every night that we practiced. Um, Jazz band practices, pep band practices, wind ensemble, symphonic band practices. So many wonderful songs that we got to play. But my favorite though, um, my favorite pieces though are some of the hardest that we ever had to play, which would be uh, one of them was in the spring at the time when kings go off to war, which was extremely difficult. But it really actually grew on me after a while, and I just loved playing it for some reason towards the end of when we finally got to perform it. Um, the other piece that really stuck with me would be Percy Granger's Children's March. I just love that because there's a part in there, I think that's around measure 268, that says, to the French horn part, play as violently and roughly, or play as violently and loudly or roughly or something as possible. And it really truly means as violently and roughly as possible. It's screeching, it's loud, it's punctuated, it's in your face, da 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 da, right in your face. And I just love that kind of emotive, stick it to the man kind of idea. These are just some pictures that I took while I was in Seward for graduation around the courthouse square. I just really appreciated the whole town of Seward being so supportive of the Concordia University kids, the Concordia University idea, what we supported, what we were, what we existed for. I just truly appreciated the town of Seward being as welcoming and friendly to all of us students. And I honestly didn't think that that was going to happen in a college town, but a small town like Seward really proves the idea of um, being able to support support the college in a community of that size. It just really was amazing to be able to attend Concordia for 4 years and be able to attend in a town of Seward that, while small and not necessarily offering all the options of a large college town or a large college city, it really gave us a feeling for this is home. This is what I can call home for while I'm at college. This is my college home. This is the world's largest time capsule, which is located in Seward. It is buried underneath the ground underneath that pyramid, and they added the pyramid on top of it in order to make it large enough to continue staying at the world's largest, at atop the world's largest time capsule list, so that they couldn't get overtaken by other people claiming to have the world's largest time capsule. Because of course we wouldn't want that. Because Seward's got to be great, and the thing they're going to be great at is having the world's largest time capsule. And Concordia University. This is my friend Josh Hendrickson and I. Yep, we're really good buddies. I miss him. He is amazing because he is him. Yeah, he was Dungeon Master for a few of my games that I got to play of Dungeons and Dragons. And I appreciate the fact that he was my Dungeon Master because he was relaxed and did not take the game too seriously when my friends and I messed up, which we did a lot. This is my friend Timmy Rash. He's pretty cool. He's from Jos, Nigeria, but it's because his family was there. I don't remember exactly how. I'm sure he told me. But, anyway, he's a really cool dude. He was in band with me, and he did Pep Bandy stuff with me, like that kind of thing, too. So, shout out to Timmy. John Kisker. I don't know how to describe him. He is one unique individual because him and I sat at the dinner table for an entire meal, so I'd say probably like 20 to 30 minutes, not talking to each other at all, other than maybe a simple hello or hi or how are you at the beginning. We just sat in utter silence for the entire meal. Then we got up and left. I don't exactly know why we did that, but we did. He was an amazing guy to be able to eat a meal with. Thanks, there's a shout out to John. This is my shout out to one of the best drummers I've ever known, mostly because I don't listen to my dad enough when he drums. But Matt Girdle is amazing. He is probably one of the best percussionists and drummers that I've ever known. I really think that he is amazing, and the university never deserved him, but they also did because he was so amazing. Thanks, Matt, for being you. And this is a picture of Matt again. He snuck into the picture. And then the other person there is Joseph Greenmeyer. There's no good way to describe Joseph Greenmeyer other than quirky. He is quite a quirk master. He exemplifies complete quirkness in all that he does. He is a great person, a great friend, a wonderful person. I can't emphasize how wonderful of a person Joe is. He empathizes and just listens, but also knows how to joke, and was the most annoying member of our Dungeons and Dragons party in Gurgi. I think it was like Gurgi Golden Axe or something like that. He had the most annoying voice. Gurgi Golden Axe. Oh, I don't know. That's my mimic of Gurgi. So, thanks, Joe, for being amazing and being serious when needed, but also fun for the rest of the time. And we can't forget Joe's better half, Faith. Faith Greenmeyer is just as amazing a friend as Joe is, but of course she is more serious more of the time than Joe, because she needs to be, because she needs to make up for her husband's quirkiness. So, but she is an amazing friend, and she is a wonderful person. She is great to talk to and just as empathetic as Joe is, and a great listener. I just love talking to her. And Joe, if you mess things up, it's your own fault, but I know you won't, because I know you and Faith love each other. Good. So this is your shout out, Faith. You're an amazing friend. And who could forget the great Samuel Safety Smith? No one could forget this man, because when he enters a room, you know he's there. Oh, Sam. Samo, I don't know. There's so much I could say. But I just still remember the first time that we got introduced to each other. I was walking to take a bag of garbage out to the dumpster, and you were out there standing in front of Ruth B. and said, "Are you Jacob Michaelson?" And I said, "Yeah." And you said, "Cool, you're coming to pre-seminary club with me and Joe. Let's go." I said, "Can I dump my garbage?" And he said, "Yeah." And you said, "Yeah, totally. Go get rid of your garbage and come to pre-seminary club with us. You're coming right now." So I went. And that's how our friendship began. You, me, and Joe. Joe, you and me. Sam, you're amazing. I don't know if I could do anything in college without you, because you were right there by my side, watching me make mistakes and laughing at me for drinking too much root beer. But then me watching you make mistakes and you drinking too much iced tea. So, there. You are one of my dearest friends. And this is my parents and I. I love you guys. Love you, parents. You're amazing. Thanks for supporting me. I definitely couldn't have made it to college without you because, yeah, first of all, I didn't have enough money. Second of all, you two always supported me, and I love you for it. Thank you. Thanks for always coming to things and being there, even though I know sometimes it's boring watching Concordia not score at all. But yet the Pep Band have way too much fun for ourselves. I love you guys. And these are just a couple of pictures of me holding first my empty diploma cover, and then my diploma folder with my actual diploma of Bachelor's of Ed, and then my Lutheran teacher diploma on top. This is what I'm going to call the Three Amigos picture, because it is Samuel Safety Smith, Josh Hendrickson, and I. We were the three band guys who always made every band ensemble we were in together memorable, because we would bring the powwow to the powwow. We would bring the party to the party. We were present and we were known because we were the three guys who were known for the little stunt things that were always funny and appropriate, but just the little things in band where if you heard a low note that was wrong, that was Sam. If you heard a French horn note that was wrong, that was me. If you heard Josh Hendrickson playing away on Josh Hendrickson stuff, or like if you heard a whole first suite, I think it's Host First Suite. It's one of Holt's. It's either First Suite or Second Suite. That I think it's First Suite that Josh would always play on his euphonium. And yes, it's a euphonium, not a baritone, Josh. See how I mentioned that? See how I'm accurate? But yeah, us three amigos were the band dudes. And here are the three amigos with the one, the only, Dr. Andrew Schultz, otherwise known as He Schultz, or anything you want to go with, I don't know. Yeah, us three guys, or us four guys, were the epitome of band culture. We could have started our own Oompa band, because we had the in Sam, the Pa in me, the melody in Schultz, and the counter melody in Josh Hendrickson. All we needed was a percussionist to give us a little backbeat, and we all could have been good. And this is us three amigos with She Schultz. She Schultz, or I guess I could call Dr. Wendy Schultz. We were all in brass ensemble with her. She directed. And she got the nickname She Schultz because after Dr. Andy Schultz got his doctorate, we needed a way to distinguish between the two. So I made the mistake of saying She Schultz in front of her, and she would just crack up every time I said that because she just didn't know how to react to She Schultz. And this is a picture of just me and Andrew Schultz. And I miss Dr. Schultz. He was amazing. He was my favorite band director of all time. Gonna miss you there, Schultzy. And this is a picture of Sam and I with Dr. Wendy Schultz. I'm gonna miss her too. She was so peppy when we were trying to get ready for brass ensemble things. She made me a better French horn player. because she just kept telling me practice and tune and what was that, Jacob? And kind of joke kind of thing. I'm gonna miss both her and her husband. And of course, we had family that was able to come and support me, other than my parents. But it was ticketed, so we only were able to have 6 people total. We used 5 of those tickets, and one of those tickets was for my cousin Allison, who you see here, which is also the one I talked about graduating from Mequon earlier in this video. She has always been there for me, and I appreciate that. Thank you, Allison, for being there for me forever, and also coming to my graduation from college. It really did mean a lot. And of course, this is the entire middle level group of people that all graduated together. We are quite the unique bunch of individuals. We have stretched all across the nation in where we're going to be teaching, and it was great getting to know these wonderful people through the education department, and I am sure glad that I actually got to meet them and learn from them and learn from the faculty, and have Beth Pester, talk to Beth Pester as my advisor, because she made it simple enough for me to graduate. Simple enough for me to graduate. It was a very well put way. And she helped me through the whole process. And that. And of course, can't go without one last picture of Sammy, the safety smith, and I together one nice time. Have a good ride, buddy.